Joining us on the telephone to talk about this issue, David Garrity, the principal at GVA Research. David has over 20 years' experience researching, advising, and managing companies in the technology sector. David Garrity, welcome to Bloomberg.
Thank you very much, Pimm.
What is the legacy of Mark Hurd at Hewlett-Packard? Is it all of the acquisitions, whether it be 3Com or Palm? Has he changed the company?
Mark Hurd certainly built the company up. He made it more into a broader, more integrated services technology company, perhaps along the lines of an IBM. However, in looking at where developments were taking place in the PC space, the growth of smartphones, the growth of tablet PCs, Hewlett-Packard under Hurd had lagged behind. Now, there had been the recent acquisition of Palm, but that acquisition, while it's closed, has not yet been integrated yet. I would personally take the view that Hurd was very good in terms of building the company up, making it more efficient, driving out costs, and focusing on the enterprise customer. But given the fact of where the developments were taking place with the consumer, with the smartphones, with the tablet PCs, Hewlett really wasn't being competitive.
David, were you even aware that there was an investigation having to do with charges of sexual harassment from a former HP contractor?
There had been no disclosure by the company prior to today, and so from that standpoint, yes, it is quite surprising. However, if you look at other technology companies, I mean, there have been other instances where you've had, significant, well-known CEOs of large companies of Hewlett-Packard scale. Names that come to mind in this case are people like Larry Ellison at Oracle, to some extent Henry Nicholas at Broadcom. Both those individuals had been, had reputations from the standpoint of what their behavior was. And in neither case, were those individuals forced out of the company, much as Hurd is being forced out of Hewlett-Packard here. So, yes, while I don't necessarily wish to excuse any one individual's behavior, I would simply say that if there were something about Hurd that made him so, indispensable, the Hewlett-Packard success, he'd still be there.
David Garrity, what about the shares of Hewlett-Packard? They're down about 9.5% in after-hours trading. Are they now a bargain?
I think Hewlett-Packard's still at a point where they've got some very, very positive product cycles unfolding around Microsoft Windows, around the fact that you've got a gradual economic recovery building globally. So I think that Hewlett-Packard's shares, obviously they may have a bit of a blip to the extent that there are fans of Mark Hurd out there with the institutional investor community, and he had built good relations. But, the fact of the matter is the company is still going to be in business. It's still well-positioned. And with Palm coming in, you might actually have a chance where possibly Jonathan Rubinstein, who came in as CEO of Palm, stayed with Hewlett-Packard. The CFO has only come in now to succeed Hurd as an interim CEO. There will be someone coming in from the operations, either from within Hewlett-Packard or from outside. I think they may come from within. My betting, if I had to make a bet right now, I would say, Jonathan Rubinstein might actually be an interesting person to look at.
All right, David Garrity, David, does Hewlett-Packard need to change any of its operations as a result of this change in leadership?
In terms of Hurd's departure, I don't think so. I think that the company certainly has, from a competitive standpoint, it's necessary for them, I think, to focus more in terms of developments and trends around what's taking place in the consumer area. I think, as we mentioned earlier, the fact that they have acquired Palm, which does at least give them some interesting technologies, not only with respect to smartphones, but with respect to an operating system which can be used across a wide range of mobile devices. There's a whole new part of the portfolio that's going to have the opportunity for Hewlett-Packard to develop. But mind you, this is all taking place in a very competitive space where clearly Apple has the lead. And from that standpoint, Hewlett-Packard as a company, given its size, given its significance, really shouldn't be seen as living in Apple's shadow. So someone's going to have to step in and succeed Hurd as CEO, who's going to be focusing on trying to move Hewlett-Packard forward.
David Garrity from GVA Research. Thank you very much for giving us that insight as to the resignation of Mark Hurd from Hewlett-Packard.